from Los Angeles, the 22nd Annual American Film Institute Life Achievement Award. A salute to Jack Nicholson. Tonight, the American Film Institute invites you to join leaders in the motion picture and television community as they gather at the Beverly Hilton in Los Angeles to pay tribute to one of its brightest stars, an actor whose life in film spans 4 decades. Ladies and gentlemen, Warren Beatty.
Thank you. For the benefit of the American Film Institute, it's a great pleasure for me to be able to come here tonight and to pay honor to the films of and the lifetime achievement of Jack Nicholson. You know, when he expressed to me some slight amount of uneasiness on the area of, the lifetime aspect of it, I think that I handled it in the right way, because actually most of the people that have gotten this thing have been in considerably advanced years. But I think you'd all agree with me that I did the right thing when I said, look, after all, for instance, when I was a kid in grade school in Virginia, you were the leading man in the movies that all the kids in my class wanted to see, and I just think it's very exciting for those of our generation to come and pay respect to an actor of your generation. So I just... Right. I think what I'll just do is say a few things about him that you probably know. For instance, I have found that he will go to great lengths to be in a good mood. Far greater than I will. Jack is a closet exerciser. You'd be surprised. He's in pretty good shape. And I want you to listen to one thing. Please. He is every bit as vain as I am. He is honest. He is empathetic. He is discreet. He is trustworthy. He continues to cultivate the art of friendship and the art of living with the same grace and avidity as he does the art of acting, and I don't know any artist in those 3 fields that I value more. I can assure you of one thing. He may not be at the beginning of his career, but he is definitely just getting into the middle.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda.
I'm the guy who didn't want Jack an Easy Rider. All right? You're looking at the schmuck right here, okay? I went into Schneider. Schneider said, you got to use Jack. I went in the office, and I said, I can't use him. He's not right for the part. And Bert said, listen, I've asked you for absolutely nothing. You're running wild out there. Use Nicholson. I said, okay, but you're screwing up my movie. Okay? Jack, this is the greatest night, and you're the greatest guy, man. And, wow, you're a great actor. Great actor.
Actually, I'm going to tell you how Jack really got the part. Dennis and I had an actor in mind that we had been in collaboration with way early in the process. And when it came time to principal photography, the man wanted $4,500. And I didn't have $4,500. And I said to this fellow, you know, everybody's getting scale but me. And he said, well, what are you getting? I said, nothing. And Jack, who was willing to do a part for scale, agreed to work for us. And scale at that time was $392 a week. I'll tell you one thing, mister. It was the best $392 I ever spent.
Ladies and gentlemen, Danny DeVito.
My cousin Celeste and his sister Lorraine were best friends. Celeste used to come into my sister's beauty parlor. I gave shampoos. They didn't want me to. I just liked getting my fingers in women's wet hair. I was 13. Anyway, Celeste would come in and all she'd talk about was Lorraine's brother, Jack. How talented he was. How handsome he was. How he was going to Hollywood to be a big movie star. I used to have to squirt shampoo in her eyes just to shut her up. I thought she was bullshitting me. But she wasn't. Because Jack came back to Jersey, 1958. But this time, his head was 20 feet high. And his name was on the marquee at a Neptune Drive-In. Jack Nicholson, big black plastic letters. Crybaby killer. Whoa. Oh. Man, I remember sitting on the hood of my father's Oldsmobile watching that movie. I said, man, this guy ain't no good. I mean, like, woo! I mean, I don't know, maybe it was because, I was sick and tired of hearing about you day in and day out. I just wanted them to bomb. Can you imagine that, wanting somebody to bomb? You can't imagine that. 50 films in 36 years. That's it. A few of them better than Crybaby Killer. Some of them excellent. One of them brilliant. I won't mention the name of that film. So, you don't create a body of work because you want to win awards, do you, Jack? So why? Fame? No. He's not a man who desires fame, preferring to lead a quiet, contemplative life in his simple home in the hills. So what's it about? Money? No. 60 million in the bank, who needs money? So, it's not about money or fame or awards. Then what? Women? Well, there's nothing to lead us to believe that. I mean, in my humble opinion, what it's about is immortality. Jack Nicholson's lifetime is 1937 to infinity. That's what it's about, right, Jack? No? Women? So I chose wrong. I respect you. I admire you. I love you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dustin Hoffman.
I was supposed to give this few words from my seat at the table, Jack, but I didn't know I was going to follow Kareem. Actors. Baudelaire wrote this short poem, Be drunken. Always. That's the point. Nothing else matters. If you would not feel the horrible burden of time weigh you down and crush you to the earth, be drunken continually. Drunken with what? With wine, with poetry, or with virtue, as you please, but be drunken. And if sometimes on the steps of a palace or on the green grass in a ditch or in the dreary solitude of your own room, you should awaken and find the drunkenness half or entirely gone, ask of the wind, of the wave, of the star, of the bird, of the clock, of all that flies, of all that sighs, of all that moves, of all that sings, of all that speaks. Ask what hour it is, and wind, wave, star, bird, or clock will answer you, it is the hour to be drunken. Be drunken if you would not be the martyred slaves of time. Be drunken continually, Jack, with wine, with poetry, or with virtue, as you please. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the big fella, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There he is. Beautiful.
In the autumn of 1975, I came to Los Angeles to play for the Lakers. And at my first game at the Forum in that fall, I was pleasantly surprised to see Jack sitting there at courtside. For the next 14 years, he was a fixture in that seat, and he got to see most of my best moments. And for that reason especially, I'm glad to be here tonight to share this moment with you, Jack. I've enjoyed so many of your films. Let's just say it. You've done it all, Jack, and you've done it all extraordinarily well. All the best to you. Thank you.
Producer of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Mr. Michael Douglas.
It was January 1975, Oregon State Mental Hospital, Salem, Oregon. I learned more on that picture about acting, watching Jack, because he never breaks. He's one of the only people I know who I think is more comfortable in front of the camera than he is in real life. That's as relaxed as he is with the camera. So with that talent, I salute you, and I don't know how you got it. But I do know about talent. I know about the hours of homework you do that nobody ever sees. I know about all the takes that you do, every one different than the other, none better, none worse, just a choice for the director. I know all the actors you give a friendly pat on the back to, all the grips electricians that you have time for, right? And that was 20 years ago. And I see you tonight here with all your friends who you never lost contact with over all those years. And I just want to tell you how proud I am to be one of them. So congratulations, Johnny. Very nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man who brought the Joker down, Michael Keaton.
When I first met Jack at his house, we had dinner together, and that night, a role model of mine really became a friend, and I learned what John Husted meant when he said about Jack. He has a fine eye for good painting and a good ear for fine music, and he's a lovely man to drink with. I look forward to all the films in the future, buddy, and an even greater friendship. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shirley MacLaine.
When people ask me, who is my role model in this business, I say you, Jack. I think why you're my role model has to do with the way you relate to vanity, or the lack of it. I mean, I have to tell you, I just adore the fact that you don't care how you look. I adore how you commit to the part. You don't care about your little bald spots. You don't care about your stomach. Remember that wonderful stomach. You don't care about your wrinkles. This is all extremely important to me. Doing a love scene with Jack Nicholson is absolute middle-aged bliss. I mean, to lie in bed and rehearse a love scene, it's so funny, it's so spontaneous, it's so open. We're lying in bed, and we're rehearsing the astronaut Garrett Reed love scene. He's explaining to Aurora what it was like to walk on the moon. She's loving it. And then we launched into the first take, and two voices came out of you. Do you remember this? Two voices, and they were simultaneous words, but they were two levels of sound. And I looked over at you. You were amazed. I was amazed, and you said, "Well, sure, I'm many different people." I said, "No, Jack, you're channeling."
Now, his co-star in Witches of Eastwick, Cher.
Well, little Johnny, I've known you for all of what I laughingly call my adult years. And when I had the chance to be in Witches, I wanted to do it, but for all the time I'd known you before, I was always so terrified of you and really frightened and intimidated. But I thought, I'm going to take this movie because I'm going to learn so much from him. And when they asked me to be here tonight, I thought, oh God, I have to talk, and you know how I feel about that. I'm so terrified. And the moment I thought about how terrified I was, I remembered a day on the set. Michelle and Sue weren't there, and Johnny and I had this scene to shoot. And I was in my trailer, and all of a sudden I was just so terrified, and I ran to his trailer. I knocked on the door, and I said, "Johnny, I have to talk to you." And you said, "Sweetheart, I'm going to the bathroom." And I went, "No, Johnny, I have to talk to you now." And you went, "Okay, Chair, I'm right there for you." And I walked in, and I said, "Johnny, I don't know what's the matter, but something's really the matter, and I don't think I can do this scene, and I'm freaking out." And he went, "Sweetheart, we call that floating anxiety." And he said, "If we have to sit here all day, if we don't shoot all day, I'll take care of you and you'll be fine." And the moment he said that, I felt like, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be great. Johnny's going to take care of everything. And we walked out on the set, and it was really great. And the one thing, everyone here knows what a brilliant actor he is. He's also one of the most dear, sweetest men I've ever known. And I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Steenburgen.
It was 1977. I was a young actress in New York City. I had studied at the Neighborhood Playhouse, and I had been waitressing, like most people, for about 5.5 years. Someone sent me over to meet a casting director at Paramount, and I said, "Are you casting anything in particular right now?" And she said, "Well, I'm casting a film called Going South that Jack Nicholson's directing, but I can't get you in on it. I'm sorry." And I said, "Why not?" And she said, "Well, we're seeing either really well-known actresses or very, very beautiful models." And 5.5 years of having no said to me, and no one understand me, and nobody recognized me, all got to me, and I was looking down at my feet, very depressed, when 2 feet enter the frame. And there's an unmistakable voice that says, "Are you waiting to see me?" And I suddenly realized that Jack Nicholson is in this office and is addressing me. And so my first instinct with my own peculiar brand of logic was, you don't look good today. You just came from a waitressing shift. Do not let this man see your face, because if you can get back in here tomorrow, you might look really good tomorrow, and he might hire you. So I just looked down, and he said, "Are you waiting to see me?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You're not waiting to see me?" And I said, He said, "Why not?" And I looked up at him and I said, "Because I don't have a script." He later told me the top of my head was intriguing. But a couple of days later, I get a message. I'm to come out to Hollywood for a screen test. And I went in my first day at Paramount. My first moment on camera was a screen test. And it was this big black hangar of a room. And in the middle of it was a pool of light. And in the middle of the pool of light was a big brass bed. And the middle of the bed was Jack Nicholson. So I had to get into that bed and do this scene with him that was a sort of morning after scene. So I did. And then my money, after several days, had run out. I booked my flight home because I had to get back to my waitressing shift at the Magic Pan by Friday night. So I went over to Paramount, and I said, thank you so much for the experience of my life. It was really incredible. Could you just give me that hotel bill money in cash? Because I needed money to get from Kennedy into Manhattan. And Jack was smoking a great big cigar, and he looked at me and he said, don't worry about it, kid. You're on the payroll. So that was that. So, Jack, I want to say something to you that I said to you in Going South. Jack, for an outlaw, you've been a pretty good friend. This room is filled with Jack's friends and colleagues. From Carnal Knowledge, Candace Bergen.
While my short-term memory isn't what it used to be, I'll never forget the day in 1971 when Mike Nichols cast me in Carnal Knowledge and told me whose girlfriend I was going to play. I was extremely happy. Those eyes, that smile, that voice. Plus, I had every single album he and Paul Simon had ever recorded. As Mike once said, the secret of Jack's brilliance is that he doesn't act, he simply is. And that is why Jack is simply one of the finest actors ever to grace his profession. My weave, I remain your devoted and wonderful bug. Congratulations.
Thank you, my dad.
Also from Carnal Knowledge, Art Garfunkel.
See, I really felt that Carnal Knowledge was going to launch my film career. The truth is, beneath Jack's tough exterior, there is an extraordinarily decent and loyal man. And if you look around the room, you'll realize that in spite of the millions of fans that Jack has out there, he is a star to them, but he is particularly a star to his friends, which I think is maybe the greatest tribute of all. Thank you, Jack.
She won the Academy Award for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Louise Fletcher.
The question I've been asked most in my life is, what's it like to work with Jack Nicholson? So tonight, I think I can answer that question without gritting my teeth. The work we did on the set of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was so powerfully real for me that I didn't want to go home at night. I didn't want it to be over. And in large part, that was because of you, Jack. You inspired me with your generosity and your commitment and your hard work, which you made look so easy that I thought I could do it too. So I'd like to repeat what I said once before. On a very special night, I'd like to thank Jack Nicholson, whose professionalism and capacity for getting into his role made being in a mental institution like being in a mental institution.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Penn.
You know, I'm in the process now of directing Jack in a picture that I wrote. And we always hear that part of the director's job is to establish an atmosphere in which the actors can feel most comfortable to be free. So I've watched Jack struggle with this night to night through the last couple of weeks and be very concerned about how the speech and this and that. So I thought, well, the best thing I could do is be unprepared and fumble terribly and set it up so that when he comes up, he'll be smooth as silk relative to me. And the one thing that I've learned in talking to him and in the meetings that tend to happen from 10 at night till 4 or 5 in the morning is that the greatest part of Jack Nicholson that's disguised is that he's very, very sweet.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Nichols.
This Lifetime Achievement Award is voted by the trustees of the AFI to the individual who has advanced the art of film in the United States. And I think if tonight proves anything, it proves 3 things, Nick. One is that, as we see, they couldn't possibly have chosen better. 2 is that you are a man with an extraordinary love and tolerance for your friends. And 3, that we, your friends, love you very much indeed. You ask any kid, and he'll tell you that Jack is the hippest place in the universe, the coolest place, the independent republic of Jack. The hardest thing in the world is to wear a great gift well. And Jack wears it with a killer smile and a pair of shades. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Nicholson.
I'm very I'm touched, and unfortunately I'm not drunk, and lucky to be at large. Thank you. I want to thank the American Film Institute for this award. I want to acknowledge that my sister, Lorraine, from New Jersey, came. She doesn't move around much. I appreciate her coming, and my daughter Jennifer's here tonight. Rebecca Broussard, the mother of some of my children, is here. She changed her mind a lot of times. She's coming, not coming, coming, not coming. Let's take the babies. Well, you know, maybe she's right. I thought they were too young to drink. It's an honor to work with these women, you know, really. I mean, if you look and see who's there, I mean, you know, they work so great, but, no, they're great people. That's what I love about them. Every one of them works hard, but I really like them so much as people. You know, a commonly asked question is by Buddhists, and I was interested in the question. Lifetime Achievement Award, they asked me if anyone had ever won it twice. You know, have, you know, the dignity of the people that went before me. In all honesty, I revere them all. I know you all do too. You know, some of them are the very first things that I remember in life about anything, you know. There they are. I mean, that's what I think about life, and there's nothing behind it. Coming when I did, I got to see them work. I got to, eventually you know, a couple of strokes of luck, I got to meet them, work with some of them, got to be friends with them. Well, I'm a late blooming success, work titles, all this. But, you know, this, you know, after this, I've worked with directors from everywhere. I travel all over the world. I am a hick actor. This expanded my life. This business teaches you everything. I love you all. I'm very proud to be here. I love this work. It's dangerous. You give your life to it. And like all novice speechwriters, you know, I'm just trying to be funny. The truth is, I'm proud of all of my collaborations. The work that this is about has set my life free. Confounds me. I'm a romantic. I feel these things matter. These little patterns that we are. The universe. Okay. My work motto is everything counts. My life motto is more good times. So, I guess the only real danger here is after this I'll fall in love with myself. So, Mud, June, Shorty, I may be godless, I may be faithless. I still pray that they can hear me. I started out because of them. I'm here to please them. I've had a ball. I was going to choose here to say goodnight, Mr. Calabash, wherever you are, because Shorty had an enormous nose and liked my imitation of Jimmy Durante. But the spirit I'd like to express on behalf of AFI, and if you don't mind, the international film community, really, all these things about age and time and everything is, you ain't seen nothing yet.